disappointed, felt like giving up. Was in distress, but my change has come. And God give I strength to rise again and find my place. He called me friend. The struggle's real and the dirty tough. So many told me I was not enough, but in my God I find my strength. With every breath I sing and say, I will rise, I will rise, I will rise, I will rise. Out upon eagle's wings, I will rise, I will rise, I will rise.
There were days when giving up thought in my mind, but I won't give up. I gotta get up and fight. Oh God, give me the strength, not letting go. I'm holding on to the end. The righteous fall 7 times, but rise again. Dry bones, you can live again. Lord, I know that you love me. Show me your ways, please go before me.
I will rise, I will rise.
Mount up on
eagle's wings. I will rise, I will rise, I will rise, I will rise, I will rise.
Mount up on eagle's
wings. I will rise, I will rise. Mount up on eagle's wings. I will rise. My change has come. He called me friend. My season of overflow, my God is saying,
Lord, you renewed my mind, you transformed my life. Lord, the chains are broken, and I will rise.
I will rise.
For me to the
I will rise.
Mount up on
eagle's wings. I will rise.
I will rise.
Mount up on eagle's wings. I will rise. I will rise.
Coming to the sky.
I will rise.
Mount up,
I will rise.
mount up on eagle's
Mount up on eagle's wings. I will rise.
Mount up on eagle's wings.
It's an album and book launch with a difference. Yes, Dr. KJ invites you to his album and book launch at the Omega Church, 11030 Wild Road, Coral Springs, Florida, Friday, the 11th of February at 7 p.m. with special guest artists Judith Gale, Joan Flemings, Second Chance, William Rojic,
Your presence is sweet.
Prodigal Son,
Jesus, send me for your making for no corruption.
and Peace Appear. Pastor Seminars DJ Mark. Tickets $30. You can get your tickets online at www.freshtick.com. That's www.freshtick.com. Come and celebrate with Dr. KJ's album and book launch at the Omega Church, 11030 Wilds Road, Coral Springs, Florida, Friday the 11th of February at 7 p.m. It's a red and white affair. For further information, you can call 770-873-7625. Come and embrace the promise.
Journey so long, I'm a hold on, I'm a hold strong. Use my
It's an album and book launch with a difference. Yes, Dr. KJ invites you to his album and book launch at the Omega.
All right. Welcome. It is indeed another golden opportunity for us to even be alive. I am so happy to be with you this evening for another episode of our relationship talk. This evening, we're going to be looking at mental health and how it affects sexual relations. Yes, mental health and how it affects sexual relations. If you're just joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me turn Mrs. Waite mic on. Welcome, Mrs. Waite. How has your week been?
My week has been good.
Yes, you've had I've had a stressful week. It
I
has
know.
been a health challenge week.
But I won't think about the bad. I'll always think about the good.
Oh yeah,
So
it's really been a health challenge week. You know, there are times when the enemy try stuff. You know, but we serve a God who is also still a healer,
mhm.
and so you know we're here tonight. I am here tonight. You know, for all our listeners, you know, to God be the glory. I was in the hospital this week, but God came through another time,
Oh yeah.
another time. All right, we're going to welcome our guests tonight. We're going to be having joining us hopefully a little later on Dr. Shane Tull. He would have been on, but he's currently dealing with a clinical emergency, and so he promised to join us in a bit. All right, so he's listening right now. Good to have you, Dr. Tull. We wait for your arrival. Hopefully, you'll be able to come on in. Also, want to say welcome to Pastor Kelly. Uh, Pastor Kelly, is he there? All right, I'm waiting for the producer to flip them up on the screen for me. All right, he might be joining us in a little bit. Also, want to welcome Dr. Carla Dunbar with us again. Dr. Dunbar, greetings to you. Dr. Dunbar is currently driving. All right, but she has decided to still join us this evening. Dr. Dunbar, how are you doing today? You're muted, Dr. Dunbar. All right. We're also going to wait for Dr. Dunbar to come in. Mr. Producer, do we have Mr. John Lastly online yet? All right. So we're going to wait for. Thank you, sir. So we're going to wait for these people to join us in a little bit, and we're going to be talking to Dr. Dunbar on mental health and how it affects sexual relations. But let's first of all look at what is mental health and what is sex. Mrs. Sweet, in your own layman's term, what do you think is sex? What is sex?
Oh, yeah.
what is what is sex?
I don't know what to say.
All right, while she think about it, let's welcome Pastor Kelly. Pastor Kelly is here. Pastor Kelly, we're going to welcome Pastor Kelly at this time. Um,
Say what it is. But I think
Pastor
it's
Kelly
more
and Minister Kimika.
Hi.
They're ready for the gospel concert. This is Pastor Kelly in red. You see that? All right. You see that? Welcome. How you both doing? You two lovebirds. How you both doing?
Doing well. I'm doing well. Tired but well.
I can see that on your face. I'm wondering, Pastor Kelly makes you well last night. With them, them bring a dance where you chewed on the last night.
It is well. It is well.
I want to say welcome to Natalie Holness Dawkins. Welcome to Cynthia Reed. Welcome to My Passion. Welcome to Vivienne Jarrett. Want to say welcome to Sharon Vassell. Welcome to DJ Giovanni out of the UK. Welcome to Jermaine Reed. That's my brother-in-law. Welcome to Sean T. Hits. Welcome. Welcome, Jeanette Mitchell. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome to those who are on Facebook. We want to welcome you. Nordia Paul White. Welcome. Welcome, Tevin Cameron. Welcome to the program. Now, back to you, Mrs. Sweet. What is
no.
sex? What is sex in your own layman term? By the way, guys, we're going to be looking at mental health and how it affects and also affect sexual relations. What would you say sex is?
I don't even know. I don't know.
Huh? You have to see. My wife is so saved and sanctified. She
No,
don't
that's
even
not
want
the.
to.
That's
Don't
not.
even want to talk about sex. He said, "You're fully saved and sanctified."
That's not the point.
Minister Kimika, I'm gonna bring you in because she's just here laughing behind me. What is sex? What is
I don't
sex?
know. I never
Let's
really
define
think about
define
it.
what is sex.
Well,
Male or female?
Blessing. It's a blessing.
that is one too. That is one definition, male or female.
The gender for male or female, right?
Well, that was not what we were referring to. We're not asking
Well,
about gender now.
well,
All right, we're talking about the act, the sexual act.
I,
What is it? Because the truth be
I'm
told, I feel like we need to define exactly what mental health is. And we also need to define what sex is so we can
right.
tie both of them together to see how one affects the other or how one enhances or can enhances the other. What's your response to that, Minister Kimiko?
Well, mental health and sex. Well, once you have mental health problem, you're definitely gonna have a problem when it comes to sex because mental health have to do with your mind. It have to do with your state of mind, your emotions, or you see things or you deal with things. So if your state of mind is not in a good state, then you're not gonna really want to have sex, and you're gonna have problems. They're gonna be major problems when it comes to that because it have to do with your feelings, you interacting with somebody because sex is sexual intercourse with somebody between a male and a female. So if you got mental problems, you don't really want to have good sex. You're not gonna have good sex. Basically, let me say, you're not gonna have good sex. You're gonna have sex, but you're gonna have problems. They're gonna be major problems. So if your state of mind is good, then you're gonna enjoy sex. You're gonna want to do it more. But if you got a messed up mind, it is not going to work out, Doc. It's not going to work out properly. You got to fix your mind first before you can have a good sex relationship.
All right.
Yes, Mrs. Wade.
Are you talking about sexual intercourse or sex?
Yeah. What is sexual intercourse?
Now you will get the definition.
What's
Sex is dealing with gender.
all right?
Right.
All
So
right.
sexual intercourse
Yeah.
is a connection between a male and a female. I say mentally, spiritually, and physically.
Okay. And I like how you put it, though. You were being very careful when you said between a male and a female. I like how you specify because we don't want anybody to think between a male and a male is okay, and between a female and a female is okay, because that was never sanctioned by God.
Right.
All right. So we're talking about within the confines of what is allowed by God between a man and a woman. In the beginning, from creation, God created or made man in his image, and then he caused woman to be made from the man. And so we have male and female. So we want to make sure that you understand that we are not promoting homosexuality. We are talking within the confines and the rights that God allows, which is between a man and a woman. Pastor Kelly, what's your take on that? What's your definition of?
Is indeed greetings everyone, Doctor, and to your beautiful wife, Mrs. Wade. I must say it is indeed a gift, a blessing to men. I mean, man and woman. Praise God. And also, I must say it helps support
support us in a mental state of ability where it does encourage us, amen, and it boosts our very day of going forward in that area concerning sex.
Yes. Do we have Dr. Dunbar now, Mr. Producer? We want to bring her in on the definition of what we're talking about, because we want to get into the mental health aspect of it. Yes, Dr. Dunbar. You won't be seeing her now, listeners. She's actually driving, but you'll hear her. Mental health, Dr. Dunbar. What is that?
Mental health is any state of upheaval in the mental faculty. So it could range from simple emotional health, somebody having emotional imbalance, to one losing consciousness of self and surroundings. That's a simple definition, not a dictionary definition, right? So it is any state of mental disturbance.
Yes. How does that affect one's sex life, Dr. Dunbar? How can it affect one's sex life, whether be it bad or good?
Okay, so we need that kind of balance, the mental balance, for us to be able to properly engage in sexual relationships. So persons who suffer broken relationship, they're going to a state of mental health as well, because they are in emotional imbalance, emotional upheaval at the time. And so that would destroy the level of intensity and intimacy that a couple can engage in, because at that time you are irrational, not able to make conscious decisions.
Yes. We want to throw the question out also to our listeners. We want to ask you, what is your definition of sex? We want to see what our listeners are thinking, what's the reasoning behind. Now, Mrs. Sweet, there is everything around us has to do with mental health, by the way. The way you feel, the way you think, the way you act, the way you operate, even with the whole COVID crisis that is going on right now, that affects mental health. When persons go to work, the husband, for example, or the wife goes to work and come back home and feel tired, and the other person is pressuring the other party for intercourse, that too can become a mental issue. Now, one of the things that I've noticed as it relates to mental health and sexual relations, it goes way back from childhood. Way back from childhood. Are you aware, Mrs. Sweet and Pastor Kelly? I probably throw this to you because you're the male on set currently. Remember when we were boys? When we were told that we should never cry. Oh, your boy, Pitney, your ball, the big boy in the ball, and then we go with that idea that men should not cry. Men should not cry, and a lot of people don't know that this has affected the psyche of men, even as they grow and enter into relationship, and it affects their sex life.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so we have men who they project themselves to be tough.
Wow.
Right? Oh, I am tough. I'm it doesn't matter what's going on around. I'm not going to cry. It is like it's a boy thing that to cry. It's a girl thing to cry. And so you find more women crying than men. And men are now destroying themselves because they are afraid to open up. And this is why a lot of men don't like to go to counseling either. Did you know that, Mrs. Ben?
Yeah, true.
Yes.
Suspect.
It is very easy.
And two, what I believe that some men don't want to go to counseling because I think they have some hidden things that they wouldn't want to come out. And they wouldn't want their partner to know. Maybe from childhood days, they wouldn't want their partner to know, so they don't want to go to counseling.
Sometimes it's not even that they don't want their partners to know.
Yes, embarrassment.
Sometimes, right, men.
Oh, the embarrassment. Okay.
Right, and men too, they prefer their partner to know really than the counselor.
Yeah.
Men have a
they
trusting
don't
issue
want
when it
it.
comes on
Yeah.
to counseling.
Oh dear. Oh,
Man,
God.
you noticed in many relationships, who's always the first who would say, let's go to counseling?
The woman.
Woman.
There's a reason for that. It's because of how we were cultured. It's because of how we were brought up.
But
Um,
Dr. KJ, so
yeah.
why don't the men just tell the wife what's going on? You know, when the wife mentioned let's go to therapy, like sit his wife down and say, let's talk about it. Why don't they do that?
No, we're not gonna do that because when you're a man,
So you see,
you get the understanding, the blanket.
So you prefer
Being a man.
so you prefer kill you?
No, that's what is happening, and that's why we are discussing mental health, because it shouldn't be that way. But it is reality. It is what it is. So they shouldn't prefer. It kills them. No, not me, because I'm a counselor.
No.
You know, they shouldn't prefer. It kills them. But this is where it's at,
True,
and
it's
we
true.
have to address it,
True.
because it is really killing our men.
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. And the
Yeah.
relationship, yeah.
I think that's what caused more sickness on
And men.
men. Yeah.
True.
Because they keep everything inside and it deteriorates their body.
Side, yes.
Right, because we're not allowed to cry. We don't cry. Men don't cry. If you notice, even in church, because we're church folks, you barely see men in church crying. Have you noticed that? Men hardly cry in church. But as soon as the praise and worship start, the women are all on the ground. They're all rolling and bawling and hollering. They're all getting napkins from the ushers. They're crying. They're not afraid to express.
I guess because we're cultured to be emotional beings.
Pastor Kelly, how can we change that culture?
To be real, I remember at a certain time, I will answer the question shortly. I remember at a certain point when my twin sister and I was to share a piece of cane with her, but she wanted the bottom, the
bottom piece, yes.
Yeah, man, the sweeter part.
Yes.
And I am the one who took the cane. I am the one who brought it, but she wanted the sweeter part, but she was bullying me. And I was the only boy left in the home with all the girls. And I realized that she was determined for the bottom, the sweet piece. So when she had the knife and I had my hand onto the top, I said, I want the bottom. And she pulled my hand, and when she had the knife, I said, if you draw it, they'll cut you. And she was intentionally doing it. She cut me for real, because she don't want me to get there.
You cried?
I was angry. And I was after her. My mother said, don't do it. Don't put your hand on women. And that's where I got the training from that point. But to say this and say that, I wanted to cry. I wanted to cry, but because I was brought up in a farm as a young man, don't cry. Keep up. And I believe it does affect a lot of persons today, a lot of youths, and that's why they are so angry. And when it comes out in a bitter way. They say you wonder why they're operating in such a way. And it's because of what they were taught. And the help is needed. And tonight is a great show to discuss this.
You know, I have seen in my time, in church, by the way, where men would look away and cry. But women, they just do it openly. It doesn't matter who is in the building. They would cry, openly. Minister Kimika, you're one of the criers, right?
I cry a lot. But guess what? You never know why I cry unless you really know me. Because when I was going to school, I used to fight, right? I used to fight a lot because I was molested. So when I go out and you mess with me, I beat you up and I cry. And if I can't get you, I'll cry. So I cry for different reasons.
What do you mean if I can't get you? What do you mean?
I can't get this fight.
Okay.
If you hit me and I cannot get to hit you back right at that moment, I cry and I'm talking like I'm gonna get you. And when I catch you and I'm beating you, I'm crying while I'm beating you because you hurt me.
Anger.
You understand? So I used to cry for that. I used to cry because I'm lonely, depressed. I cry for many reasons. So my tears, it means a lot, different languages. So I am a crier. I cry when I'm worshiping God. The anointing is strong. When I'm in love, or I want to get mushy. It's different reasons.
Dr. Dunbar, is it safe to encourage men not to cry?
Okay, good night again. I missed out on some of the conversation, but no, how can that be safe? That has been our culture, Jamaican Caribbean culture, where we have gender socialized, and in our gender socialization, our boys are not allowed to express themselves by crying, and so they grew up to be men who also believe that to not cry is to be macho, and that has affected and is affecting many relationships. It cannot be safe to not allow one party in a relationship to not be able to express themselves. That is also why the suicide rate among men is so high, because they suppress, and they suppress until they cannot suppress any longer. And when the sense of hopelessness comes, then they commit suicide. So it is not safe. It is the way we have raised our boys. They are to be tough and aggressive. And if you notice, when a man is committing suicide, he's aggressive to his own self. Because how a man kills himself, he either shoots himself or cut his own throat. Because he's aggressive, he's being aggressive even to himself. And that is how he was socialized, as opposed to a woman who, if a woman is committing suicide, she'll take medication and probably pray it doesn't work, or she'll send out a note.
All right, we seem to have lost Dr. Dunbar, so we'll come right back to Dr. Dunbar. And Dr. Dunbar was making some very, very crucial and important point to the way how we socialize our men, and when they're hurting themselves, how aggressive they become. Because listeners, if you notice, a lot of times when you hear or read of somebody committing a suicide, a man in particular committing a suicide, they either hang themselves, cut their throat. That's how aggressive they are. A woman would poison themselves, or something less painful. The woman would go for. And it goes right back to mental health, because how do we address these signs when we see them? Let me ask Pastor Kelly, how should we identify and address these issues, mental health issues that will arise in, even in our relationship, to help to prevent, men and women from really harming themselves or belittling themselves, demeaning themselves, lowering their self-esteem, you name it. What are some of the things we should be able to do or can do to help these people?
I must say, this is the starting point right now as we are talking, discussing it, and it's very important. And persons who are listening now, grab your son. He may be 12 years old, he may be 8, and they understand what we are talking about on this topic right here, just know. And, it will be a help, of course. I'll share this live, amen, and, the parts that you can pick out that they can listen to, and you, the father, correct that. Maybe what I was taught, even by in the school, peer pressure. You're around certain boys, certain peers, and they would say, "Come on, my youth, you want to?" To the girl there that you want ball, come on, man up, man. But deep within, you're hurting. And we know that we are all human beings. So what I could say to you, the young man, you the young boy, the little teen who you are, it will get better. But the help is here, and we say to you, just you can tough it out. But if you feel crying, bring out your cry, man. Cry, don't be ashamed.
Minister Kimika, do you think it is possible? Pastor Kelly just mentioned that, the fathers should get their sons and, say, cry, whatever. What if that was how the father himself was cultured, and he himself don't believe that men or boys should cry? What's going to happen to that little son?
Well, I think it's time now that we stop being stuck in the past, and we try to change. I know we were taught certain things back then, but now technology has advanced. We get more knowledge now. The Bible says, God said, my people suffer for lack of knowledge. So if him as a father Like my husband, let me use him as examples. For instance, he learned certain things when he was growing up in culture, like not to cry, be tough and don't show your emotions. But now he has two sons, which is, my son also. He has to teach him, like, express your feelings. If you feel hurt, you could cry. Don't hold it in. Let it out. Let your mom know. Let your friends know how you feel. Don't hide your feelings. He has to teach him now what he learns, because if he don't pass on that knowledge to his sons, they're gonna suffer just like how we suffer, and the relationships that comes on that they end up in is gonna be damaged. So he has to, like, leave what he learned in the past and accept the knowledge that he gained now and pass it on to his children.
Yeah.
It is said that mental health is a state of well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. All right, this is just a definition from the World Health Organization, and I chose this definition because the World Health Organization has taken a very keen interest in mental health, especially since the global pandemic, because so many people, we're not even aware. I mean, people are not even aware how hard this pandemic has hit some people. There are so many people who have committed suicide for a number of reasons during this pandemic. Some end up owing people money, and the stress of that causes them to commit suicide. Some have lost their job, not able to pay their bills, not able to take care of their families, and they gave up on hope. Some were just lazy and just can't bother with life. They just get fed up with life, and they just take their own life. Some, they, for whatever reason, they have just decided to end their lives. All of this goes back to their mental health, their state of mind. And it is very important that we help people to understand that it doesn't matter what you will face, what you encounter, you are never alone. You are never alone. In fact, even in this global pandemic, all of us are in this together. And it is easier we try to weather the storm than we try to get out of it by being dead. Right? I've known of persons whom I've been close with who committed suicide. They committed suicide. Right? Another definition says mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make choices. What's your take on that definition, Mrs. Wade? It's on the screen.
Yeah, I think it's true.
Dr. Kevin?
It's so true.
Dr. Dunbar is back. Thank you, Dr. Dunbar. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
I was just saying, I was just giving a definition of mental health. How it affects psychological.
Yes, it is true. I think it is true.
It is true. It's important to note that depression wears so many faces. Sometimes it's so hard to know when a person is experiencing any form of depression, whether it's mild or otherwise. And so it is so important that we understand that. And we live in a very stressful environment. Our society is stressful. What is happening around us is stressful. So many persons are now being diagnosed with anxiety, depression. They're having panic attacks. And all of these are affecting their mental, emotional state. You know, and so it's important. I heard a minister talk about sharing the knowledge, a father needing to share the knowledge of what he has gained concerning how his son should be able to express himself as a child, irrespective of what the culture says. And that is so important. Where I have started is at the parenting seminars in the schools, is to helping the moms who are predominantly the attendants to ensure that their boys are given the opportunity to express themselves just as much as the girls are given the opportunities, so that we do not try to relive what we have had in the past, where we gender socialize and create the kind of emotional imbalance that we are experiencing today, to the extent that, you know, men suppress because of how they feel. It's not necessarily what they believe, you know.
Yeah.
It's what they have been inculcated with, and so the culture expects them to be this way. Our men don't even know what tune to dance to. They are confused,
Yes.
you know, because society has so much expectation of them. You know, strength and size and physique makes you a man, you know, and so they try to live up to the stereotype, which is often not true. You know, if a man stands in church and cries because he feels a connection, then he's stupid. We have to also start evangelizing differently, because we can't sing certain songs when we're trying to evangelize men. It is really way out of sync.
You know,
You know?
Dr. Dunbar, one you made mention of something that strikes me just now. It is a problem, by the way. We're having an issue. We're having a problem as it relates to mental health. I remember as a young boy growing up, when I was probably about 14 years old, I was in church, and the Holy Spirit really spoke that Sunday in church, and it moved me to tears. I wept. I was at the altar, and I cried and I cried and I cried. And after church, my friends, I couldn't be no peace. And they took that thing for the entire week. Why? Because I cried. Because I cried. So I was a sissy cry, a girl cry, you know, you're weak, you know, those kind of things. And that thing plays on my psyche to the point where I would be in church and want to cry and afraid to cry, because I am remembering what happened to me the week I cried in church. And then we grow with these things. So sometimes when we begin to laugh and we begin to call people name, you know, call them names, and we begin to stereotype them, it's a problem. And that's why we have these young guys, boys, growing up into young men and creating so much problem.
Can I say something?
Yes, they are savage. They have become very savage. They have become very savage based on how they have been socialized.
Yes, go ahead, Minister Kimika.
I just remember, you know, it's not just culture alone. You know, I was in the army, right? And I'm remembering during training, even they say, tough it up. It is what it is, you know, tough it up. So even we as females, we're so emotional. Even when we want to cry in the army when we're going through a rough time, some of us can't cry. We gotta either tough it up and hold it back, and don't let that tear come down your eye. And then, can you imagine me? I'm a female and I'm told that tough, you know. Well, they said it, another word, but I can't say that, you know. Let's say another word, and we have to like just suck it up and hold it in. And the men, they're there beside with us females. Can you imagine they're having a harder time holding in back when they're going through a hard training, or they feel something and they want to cry, but they can't cry? I mean, it's not just our culture that does it. The training that we go to get certain jobs. Go ahead.
Yes, Dr. Dunbar, go ahead.
And that is the reason, Minister. That is the reason, Minister. And that's the reason, Minister, while we have many of our soldiers and ex-soldiers, the recruiting coming back, and they are coming back and they're having mental issues. They have to debrief. They have to go through a lot of debriefing, because psychologically they are not there. You know, so it is wrong on all sides to impress this upon anyone at all, because it destroys not only self, but it destroys the relationship you enter into.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's where we're going because you see, all of this leads to depression, stress, anxiety, guilt, low mood. These are common symptoms of what we're actually talking about. These symptoms can lead to decreased libido, which is the desire to have sex, and can psychologically and physiologically affect your ability to become aroused. Again, we go back to how we were cultured, Pastor Kelly. And that is why some of our men today, they will have issues in their bedroom, and they try to, as it were, suppress it. And, instead of getting help, I have seen where
Yeah.
a man was, what's the word I want to use, limited, was limited. He had a problem. And not wanting to seek help, he would beat his wife up all the time,
Wow.
to
Wow.
cover up. Oh, so he can't stand up to it. And if the wife talks about it, it's a beating. So he tried to express his manhood by being this aggressive
No.
because he can't function. And so these issues have affected our men even in the bedroom. How
Yeah.
do we get our men, Pastor Kelly, to go get help when these issues, they're faced with these issues?
No, I believe they should face the reality, look in themselves, um, try the best of their being just to see the situation that they are in because it's a serious one. Because if you love your family, because you're going to be literally shouting off your children as well. You're going to be shouting off strangers, persons who even haven't done you nothing. It's a daily routine because of a habit. And I believe the help is here. And all which I can say is for them to acknowledge, seek the help. Go to the areas, search it up in the Google, go on the online, ask question, share with persons who you can relate with, and cause that relationship in conversation to develop it. I need to be the help. We need to talk. I want to say, men, we need to talk. Start talk now.
Dr. Dunbar, what should our men do? Those who have limited, they are limited in their bedroom, and they turn to violence to suppress their limits. What would you recommend they do? Don't forget, Dr. Dunbar is driving, so sometimes she might lose signal. Our producer is saying we have Marvet and Crystal Kenton on our chat tonight. I think they might want to contribute to the discussion tonight. So our producer will put whatever up on the screen in a bit for us to be able to read what they're saying. I think you wanted to chime in here, Mrs. Sweet. What should
No, I was gonna say when Pastor Kelly was saying that the men should get help, but I was thinking you have men who don't want to talk.
True.
They really don't want to talk. They always keep silent, and they
True.
they learn to hide things. So what can
But
we do to get them to talk?
but we talk about other things as men. We talk about other things. We would argue about other things. We would put our foot on other things. But there
No,
are some.
but I think that if some men believe that if they talk, they're gonna look weak. So I think that maybe that's why they don't talk.
Yeah, we want to tell them tonight. That's not it. That's not it.
Okay.
Real man talk up, and if you know who you're going to talk to, you know what you're going to share, and you have to start from somewhere. You don't spill everything, but something is bothering you. You realize that why am I operating this way? Why am I'm behaving this way? Why it's continue happening? And sometimes I can say you're innocent, because it was because of culture. You came into this world, you saw it around you, you adapt it, you have been peer pressured, your peers in school, you come out of high school, you're going to college, is the same thing. You go in your community, you're around men who act the same way, you start to act like them, and you develop that whole thing about you starting to just be like them when you need to just be yourself.
So you're saying some of it is peer pressure then?
Peer pressure along the way.
Okay.
Sometimes too, as I said, it is how you were socialized, how we were cultured, what we were made to believe growing up as boys. And so this thing is embedded in us as men. And we believe, okay, because we're the leaders, we're called to be the leaders, we're the head of the house. You know, there are certain things that, okay, if I'm going to have that problem, you know what, let's fight it out. I mean, there are some crazy people who does these things, you know, and they need help. They need clinical help. And men, if you are one of those listening tonight, I would encourage you to go get help. Pastor Kelly, you mentioned something earlier, and I would want to add to what you said as to the solution to that. Now, if you have a problem in the bedroom as a man, you know, I'm sure you have friends that you can talk to. If you don't want to talk to the counselor, if you don't want to see a medical doctor, because sometimes the issue is really medical. Sometimes you may have diabetes, and that might affect your ability to have an erection. That might affect your ability to perform and function, you know, the way you want to. And so you see the doctor. There's a doctor we call the urologist. They are the expert in these areas. Go see the urologist. When a woman has a problem, she sees a gynecologist. When a man has a problem, he sees the urologist. Go talk to your urologist. That also could be a sign. You not being able to perform could also be a sign that you are having some prostate problem, and that needs to be checked out. I have seen where men would say, I am not allowing no doctor to put their finger up in my anus. Now they have other means of checking your prostate. If you don't want to do that, they can do it through your blood. All right? They can do it now even through ultrasounds. Right? So it is very, 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 very important that we get checked out, especially if you're 40 and over. Go get yourself checked out, man. It is very, very, very important. Go get yourself checked out. Tigress is saying we have women who are limited because of mental health as well, especially women with OCD. Big problem there in the relationship. Talk about OCD for me now, Mrs. Sweet.
Why I have to talk about the OCD? Because I have it.
Well, you saying it, you know, I don't know. So, you know, do you think that's a problem in the relationship? If women have OCD?
Sometimes it is, because I know that when I put something a certain way and that's how I want it, I don't want nobody to trouble it. So I know sometimes it can be a problem that we will argue about it. I know that. So yes, OCD is also a problem, and I think it is mental too. She's correct.
But if you're just joining us, welcome.
They say when you have OCD, it's a mental illness.
It is a mental illness. It is. It is. I tell you about you, know, Mrs. Sweet, but I'll tell you another time. I could tell you about you with that. But I'll tell you what, it can be something good and it can be something bad.
Oh, yes, it is true.
Yeah, it can be something good, because one thing with her, because she has OCD, and I'm me diagnose her, and because she have OCD, she makes sure the house is always in top shape, and that is good. All right. When the person who helps us at the house comes, sometimes she put the pot wherever, and I guarantee you after she's gone, those pots will be moved because they were not at the place where she thought they were supposed to be, and she just rearranged everything. Sometimes, you know, I would sit there and I just watch her. One of the things that I don't do, and men, you must know your wife. Pastor Kelly, know your wife. Know your wife. One of the things that I don't do, I mean, when she comes from the supermarket, I will take in all the bags. I don't have a problem. I'll take them out the car and I'll take them into the kitchen or at the pantry or wherever.
Yeah.
I am not taking anything out of any bag and put it in any cupboard or any fridge or anywhere. I am not doing it. I am not doing it. Because as soon as I take up 2 items, There goes an argument.
Ah.
One you were supposed to take up. What about how the hell are you gonna shop? Hope you're gonna know, sir.
All right.
You
Let's
have
get
that
off
in
my
the bag.
OCD, please.
Huh? So I am not gonna let that get into my mental state at all and disturb my peace. So I do what is right. Pastor Kelly,
Right.
you know your wife. And
Yes.
and do what is right. If you're
Yes.
just joining us, we're talking about mental health and how it affects sexual relations. We're going to take a quick break. Don't forget the big concerts are coming up, and we want to share that with you. I'm fixing characters.
You're invited to a special album and book launch by Dr. KJ. Special guest artists will be there, like Joan Fleming, William Rogic, Golda McFarlane, Judith Gale, Jay Bass, and the Prodigal Son. Dr. KJ's album and book launch will be held at the Bryn Mawr Church of God, 2227 Bryn Mawr Avenue, Philadelphia, on Saturday, the 12th of February at 7 p.m. Master of Ceremonies, Lady G. Tickets $30. You can get your tickets online at www.freshtix.com. That's www.freshtix.com. Come and support Dr. KJ's album and book launch at the Bryn Mawr Church of God at 2227 Bryn Mawr Avenue, Philadelphia, on Saturday, the 12th of February at 7 p.m. It's a red and white affair. For further information, you can call 770-873-7625. Don't miss this. Come and embrace the promise.
That's what it's all about. Hey. Indeed. Don't forget the floodgates coming up next weekend. It's a good time to tell you that we won't be having our relationship talk next week, Saturday. Instead, we are going to be streaming bits and pieces of that concert for you. So we're going to ask you to still come on in and join us. We're going to be streaming a piece of this concert for you from Philadelphia. All right. So, and if you're in the area, we encourage you to join us. Come and share with us. We're going to be having a good time next week, Friday in Florida, Saturday in Philadelphia, and Sunday we will have the grand finale in New York. All right. So we're back. We're talking about mental health and how it affects sexual relations. Earlier on, when we were defining what is sex, one of our listeners was defining it, but it wouldn't come up in the chat, and so she sent it via WhatsApp. So my wife is going to read what she wrote.
Okay, it's from Natalie Holness. She said, sexual intercourse is a physical direct contact between a man and a woman where penetration and insertion of the erected penis into the vagina. Sometimes sexual intercourse ends up with each person having an orgasm or maybe just one.
How unfair is that, Minister Kimika?
Why you say that, Doc?
They said sometimes only one have an orgasm.
That is true. Most of the time it's the man.
Pastor Kelly, is that so, sir?
I'm listening. Continue.
Most of the time, the man is the one that during the act, sometimes we female do, but sometimes after you guys don't get your explosion, then you got to work on us for we to explode too.
Yeah, sometimes the men might be tired. You have to see with the men sometimes. They might be very tired.
It's anxiety caused that though.
That's true. Yeah. And they can't reach that sweet spot that we have. So you have to work on it otherwise. Sometimes. It just depends though. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it don't. So it just depends.
You say sweet spot, what do you mean? Help the men understand. When a woman say you can't reach my sweet spot, what are you talking about?
There's a sweet spot that a female has inside that let her explode. So if you don't, during the sexual intercourse, if you don't interact with that spot some way, somehow, then she's not going to explode.
That spot? What spot is that?
Doc, you're a doctor.
Yeah, but what spot is that? Because I'm sure Brother Tevin would like to know. what spot you're talking about, because he's about to get married and he wants to make sure that he's doing everything right. So, what spot are you talking about?
Well, he can sit and have a conversation with his wife or his fiance, you know, to discuss. Okay, during my during sexual intercourse, you know, I don't know if she's a virgin or not. I don't know. But you want to sit down and have a conversation with your fiance, like during sexual intercourse, there's something that's gonna happen during that time. You're gonna feel excited. You're gonna feel that something that's gonna come over you during the process of you doing it, and you know you're gonna feel away and you're gonna explode.
A male listener just said G spot. I'm okay. Yeah, he said the G spot. Now, let me ask Minister. The G spot in a woman, is it found the same place in every woman?
Yeah, honestly, that I do not know. I never did the research. I just know about my body, where I feel excited and what happened to me. So I do not know. I should ask you that question.
I'm not a female.
No, but you're a doctor. You're a psychologist, right?
Yeah.
You should know that. I think you studied it.
No, I do, but I want to hear from personal, as a woman. If
I know about myself, I know about my body. I'm not sure. I am not sure.
Is the G spot found the same place in every woman?
I would not know because I don't explore nobody else's bodies.
Like that.
Everyone is designed differently, so I don't know. You'd have to ask Dr. Dunbar. She's an expert.
Dr. Dunbar.
Yes,
we're waiting for her to come back. Yeah, we're waiting. She's driving. I'm sure her signal, because she did tell us before we came on air that she was driving and the signal would get bad.
She is a sex expert, so
yes.
she can tell us if it's
we will ask her that question when she comes back. When she comes back. Pastor Kelly, mental health and sexual relation in the bedroom. One of the issue that a lot of people are having, a lot of couples, I should say, married couples are having in the bedroom is the fact that the man, would not properly prepare the woman, because they believe that, okay, the woman must bawl, and if the woman not bawl, him not do nothing, and he must bop, 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 and hold her, and you think you go, and they feel that this is sex. They feel this is sex. Do you think that kind of behavior is also mental?
I believe so. But that individual, that man, that person who is the male, if you know your wife, you know what really carry her to that place where it will work between the both of you in the bedroom. So I believe, some women I heard women would mention it openly. I can't believe the soft business, just get at it.
So there are women who do not believe in foreplay.
I believe so.
That's not safe, though.
You tell us, Doc. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's not safe. A woman's body must be prepared, because later on in life they're going to have medical issues. They can have cervical cancer and you name it, and all the other issues. Tissues can be torn inside. All of that. Women, you must be properly prepared. Your husband should properly prepare you. As a matter of fact, sex does not begin when you get to the bedroom. By the way. When the woman is at work, when the man is at work, sex begins there. You start talking about what you're going to do later on when you get home. Just the very sight, you see the woman or you see the man, and you are excited, you are aroused. So sex does not just begin when you get into the bedroom; it begins up here.
And it have indication signs. It have signs. It shows signs. As men, we know the signs. Women knows the signs. When it does come upon you, we are human beings and we know.
Somebody said they wanted to know what was a G spot. There's a small area called the Grafenberg spot or the G spot inside the vagina. It's located about an inch or so inside the vaginal opening on the upper vaginal wall. So it is closest to the belly button. So a man can easily feels it. All right, the G spot is sexually sensitive and swells slightly during arousal and feels raised or bumpy. And if you want to know, for those who don't use their fingers on their spouse, you will never be able to feel it. All right, but you'll get a better feel of it if you use your fingers, and if you can put your penis there. And as a matter of fact, women help them sometimes. Just tell them, oh, keep it right there. Keep it right there. So you give them an idea.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Love Mrs. Wade. Enjoy it.
Okay, keep it right there. Okay, all right. We often think of sex as something our bodies are doing, but a lot of our sex life takes place in our brains. It's important to realize that for all genders, our thoughts and feelings play a vital role in getting us turned on and keeping us that way. And that's exactly what I was just saying a while ago. Let's continue to read on the G spot. Although all women have this tissue, by the way, the G spot is a tissue for those who don't know. Although all women have this tissue, some like their G spots to be stimulated and others don't. And many noticed no difference in sensation one way or the other. Many women have orgasms and about 10% ejaculate when their G spots are stimulated. Minister Kimika, what's the difference between an orgasm and ejaculated for a woman?
Listen, I was just gonna ask you that because I just enjoy myself. So what is the difference? Because when I have an orgasm, I mean I just have it. So is there a difference with the amount of fluid that come out of it?
Okay, so when a woman, a lot of people don't know that women do ejaculate. Yes, women do ejaculate, and that's when, probably you'd hear the man say, man, you were running like a river. All right. Yes, women do ejaculate. Orgasm is the feeling. Orgasm is the sensation. That one that gets you speaking in tongues. All right, that's the orgasm, right? I see Pastor Kelly. I explained to you what the orgasm is. I see his lip. I see his lip moving there. So yeah, that's the orgasm. The ejaculation for the woman, again, a lot of people don't know that women do that. That's more intense. All right, that's when it causes you to have multiple orgasms. You just coming. You didn't know that, Mrs. Wade?
No.
You didn't know that woman ejaculates, no?
No, I didn't know.
That's what this program is for. This is a sexual program, by the way, everybody. And we talk about sex within the rights of marriage. Did you know that, Pastor Kelly?
Yes.
Oh, you knew that woman ejaculates?
I knew.
Okay, good.
But it was just one thing. I didn't know you guys classify it differently.
Oh, you thought it was just one thing? It can be the same thing because some people classify it as the same thing. You know? But the level that you are on, the height that it takes you, so some women may say after, man, I've never felt like this before. And they've been having sex, they've been married for 40 years. But they say, I've never felt like this before. Oh my God, this feels so good. Mrs. Wade, you're going to say something. Oh, Mrs. Wade said, no, she don't know nothing about them or something. So she never ever said anything about this. Yes. So that is why it is very important, if you are going to reach that level of climax, that your mental state, your mental mind, your mental man is healthy. It's healthy. We have a lot of things around us to cause us to get unhealthy mentally. And so when that begins to happen, we begins to have all kinds of complications within the bedroom as a husband, as a wife. That too, minister, leads to where a lot of female, for example, they would complain that they are not being satisfied at home, and sometimes they're even forced to go and cheat. And it is sad. How should the men help the woman to overcome that hurdle?
Well, first they gotta communicate with each other. They gotta figure out what the main problem is and work on it. Work on it together. Don't make your partner go outside and work on it with somebody else. You gotta come together, go in the bedroom, work, try to figure it out. Do stuff to figure it out to find a solution.
I'm waiting on Dr. Dunbar to come back because this was going to lead us into the aspect of toys,
Okay.
right, and all of that. So I'm hoping that she gets some good service, even though we're almost finished. Hoping that she'll get some good service to come back in. But in the meantime, though, as a Christian, Pastor Kelly, just in a general sense, do you think the use of toys in the matrimonial bedroom is right?
Not for me. For me,
No, not personally. Just in a
okay.
general sense.
Well, everyone has free will. I must say to you, everyone has free will. Everyone has been making their own decision from they have been responsible, and I would not condemn a person, but to say, if that's their desire, that's your choice. But I love to speak for me. It is something that I would look at. It's not. I don't think it's of the Lord in my way of looking at it. But I will not condemn another person who has that desire, because we all can change. We can grow. We can understand what is right for us, what is not right for us, and that's where I can bring it.
Yeah. What do you make of toys in the matrimonial bedroom, Mrs. Way, in a general sense? Let's say a female come to you and tell you, my husband is not performing how he should be performing. Do you think I should use toys to help him? So a female come to you as a woman and ask the question, and even as a Christian, what would you encourage them? How would you direct them?
Well, it depends on what toys, because they have different toys, right? I
Yeah.
would think that they would have different toys. So maybe it could be she could use something that would maybe be mind stimulating, I don't know, or help with the mental health. Because I know they have games that you can play. I know about that one. So sometimes it all has to do with the mental health of the persons. So sometimes I don't know. I don't think I would really, and it depends on which toy though.
Or what they are
Or what
referring to as a
they
toy.
refer to as
That's
toys.
all right.
Because I've been to a store where I see different stuff in there. Some of them but I know I saw games that would help stimulate and help you get growth and all of that. So I would say games, but the others.
Okay. Althea Richards is just chiming in on what we were talking about earlier. She says, I think every female G spot is the same place but might be positioned slightly different, which is true. How women some women easier stimulated than others, and that is true. Pastor Kelly, I see a listener asking a question here for you. She is asking for, she lost her husband, and his soul is resting. Thank God for that. And so she's asking, if the toy is wrong, what should she do?
No, it's two things. She don't have her husband. He's not here anymore. She used to enjoy him. Is either she can keep up and continue going on and keep herself, But if she can't keep herself, what's she gonna do? She's still gonna do something that will cause her to be pleased until she understand how to deal with that situation. I can't tell her really what to do because her mindset is not mine. She's a female.
But so Kimika, what would you encourage her to do? Her husband died, and you know, she is not married. She has not remarried. You know, she has feeling, still young. You know, so she's asking, what should she do?
Well, it's a tough situation for her because she's so used to being intimate with her husband. And that sexual feeling is going to come upon her a lot of times. And then she can remember wanting to be the husband. And there are times that she probably she might get a toy. She might use her fingers to please herself, you know, think about her husband, what they're used to doing, you know, to please herself. But you really got to be careful because when you use a toy or you use your imagination, you can entertain another spirit in your bedroom. You know, even though you're by yourself and you want to please yourself because, you know, your husband is gone and you feel that feeling. When you think about being with your husband that's passed, you're gonna a spirit, you know, is gonna come, enter into your life and take that form of your husband. That's gonna be a spiritual husband. So every time you get that feeling and you go like get a toy or you use your finger to please yourself, that spirit is now gonna appear. And spiritually, you know, because we're spiritual beings, spiritually, I know, have sex with you. And it's going to get more and more intense. Now you're not just going to be using a toy alone or your hand to please yourself. No, you're going to be dreaming that you're actually having sex with your husband. So, you know, what you could do is say, Father God, this is hard. I got my flesh. I need to get me someone. I can't get none because my husband is gone and I'm a widow. I'm by myself. So you, God, now have to help me.
Yeah.
You have to help me control the urge I have. You have to tell me what to do, not to give in to well, it's going to lead to masturbation because once you use a toy and you're single, that's masturbation. You understand? God, how can I control myself? How can I deal with this? And God will show you how to. But when it comes upon you, you know, just, I don't know, you got to find a way. Something that helps you keep it down. You don't give into it, and you don't play into, like, you know, having sex in your mind and thinking about your past husband that passed, because that's going to lead into something different, and the spiritual husband is going to be entertaining to your life and cause another problem. So it's a tough situation. It's really tough because you're the one that's going through it. I have been through stuff. That's why I'm saying this. So, you know, God has to help you go through it because you have needs. You have needs. You're gonna get lonely. You're gonna want to get that touch, that kiss, that all of that rub it up stuff, and you want to explode. You understand? So God is really gonna have to go through this journey and help you to cope when that time comes.
These are some of the issues that people shy away from, but I know her question sounded very simple, but it is not a simple question, and that goes back again to the mental health, because just the question alone can have bearing on her mental health. Now, imagine when she's alone by herself. She's fully aroused, and she knows well that she don't have a husband because her husband passed away. All right, and then, you know, she's been told, okay, you're not supposed to use a toy, you're not supposed to this, you're not supposed to that. Do you have an idea how that plays on her mental health?
Yeah, make her go crazy. So, you know, she has to just do what she do, and God help her to get over it and work out, you know, what is best for her. God will help her go through it.
A listener is asking from Holland is asking if you, Pastor, if you happen to have an erectile dysfunction, won't you use a toy? Or would you encourage, not you personally, Pastor Kelly, but let's say somebody comes to you and say, you know, Pastor Kelly, I'm having erectile dysfunction. Should I use a toy? You know, what would you encourage them to do?
That person, no, I'm looking at it. I've never think of it before, but the question is asked. And could you repeat again, Doctor? I want to be sure.
They're asking if the person has the erectile dysfunction. That means the penis can't stand up.
I know, man. I know.
And he comes and asks you, should he use a toy on his wife?
Since he couldn't perform.
Right.
That is between the both of them, though. That is their agreement. Listen, they are married and they are legally married. They are Christians. These people, their bedroom, still their bedroom, their decision. You know, I am not the one to say, oh no, on that in that era, I can't say no for that. I can't say no.
Pastor Kelly, a person
Yeah.
once said to me,
Mm-hmm.
if a man has erectile dysfunction, in days done, so if he just done.
Wow.
That is mean.
No.
Yeah,
That's
what the person
That is
said.
mean.
I'm
That is
like,
is
oh
mean.
my
yeah,
word.
that is very mean. Now, if
Mine-
somebody has erectile dysfunction, don't forget, guys, that we have doctors that specializes in these issues.
That's why, sorry, Doc, mind you, that's why I can't tell a person what to do in their bedroom. It is wrong. You can demand a person like a male, if you're having a male friend or you're a female and having a female friend and you're just telling her what to do. What if you tell her and it doesn't work? Just as though you would introduce someone to someone and then a couple months they broke up. Now, what I can say, whatever they both come to agreement on is your decision. Now, if the marriage is of the Lord, he will direct you. He's the head of all marriage, especially when it's of him. Praise God. So I want to say to you, if you are in a situation where you have been challenged in areas where you are living that life, that's why we have to live. I must say to you, if you are living for Christ, the Lord will fix things in our lives. There are things that still really need to be fixed. Amen. Even with that person who just asked the question, the Lord is able. It may sound a way to say, oh, it sounds so spiritual, but you are still human. But it still takes the Spirit of God to keep man, to keep woman, to keep us on the right path where when we see situation arises, you know, help will come. What if the husband, the next husband God will set you up with, to relieve you, to free you up? What if the Lord will fix that situation next couple of weeks, couple of months, without you even look forward for it?
You mean fix it with a next husband? You said?
Yeah. What if God will set up a thing for a next husband?
So what gonna do? Kill the first husband?
No, remember that the person. No, remember the person said her husband is no longer
the
here.
one who died. Okay, you lost me there a while ago, Pastor Kelly. Thank you. Okay, you lost me.
Yeah. What you're commenting based on the first message just now, question that was asked. What if God is setting her up for her husband that she didn't even know that he's gonna do it, and he's just gonna just put it in place, and she's going to just see, say, I gotta do it.
Well,
Relieve her.
That's gonna be between her and God. You know. Yeah, that would be between her and her God. If you're just joining us, welcome. We see a number of people just coming on. We're talking about mental health and how it affects sexual relations. I want to play the ads for you for New York. As you know, next week is a big day, a big weekend, and you know we I'm just trying to incorporate the planning here in our show tonight. All right, good evening, Dr. Curry. It is so good to have you joining us this evening, Pastor Curry. Let's go to a break.
Dr. KJ invites you to his album and book launch. It's a special event you won't want to miss. Special guest artists include The Prodigal Son, Judith Gale, Golden McFarlane, William Ruggie,
We will lift up our hands to you.
Joan Flemings, Jabez,
Jesus, me never know I saw you sweet.
and Eddie Nebrett.
What have you come here to do, church? I've come to pray, Lord.
That's right. Dr. KJ's album and book launch will be held at the Grace Deliverance Tabernacle, 650 Remsen Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, Sunday, February 13th at 6:30 p.m. There'll be a contribution of $30. Dress in your red and white and come and celebrate with Dr. KJ as he launches his album and book. Sunday, February 13th, 6:30 p.m., 650 Remsen Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. Don't miss this special event. Come and embrace the promise.
All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, welcome. We're talking about mental health and how it affects sexual relations. Do remember you can also get your tickets at www.drkj.org. All right, so you can just check out the website and you can purchase your tickets right there. All right. During the break, Mrs. Waite was asking me a question, and it's a question that I saw that came up on the screen earlier on. She was asking the question if a female ejaculation is the same thing as squirting. Squirting, I call it?
Mhm.
Yeah, squirting. Mr. Producer, where's Minister Kibika? Yeah, that's the one. I think the female ejaculation is the same thing that is called squirting. What do you think about that, Minister?
I don't know. I don't know if it's the same thing. Like I said, I didn't know that you guys classify it as different. But I know squirting. I know squirting is where there's a huge explosion and you pee at the same time. So I know that's squirting. So I don't know if that's what you guys call ejaculation for a female.
Yeah, if squirting is pee, how does it become ejaculation? That's pee.
No. It is you're coming at the same time while you're peeing. So it's two things happening at the same time. So the pee come out with a force, and it's out like a hose. So that's what squirting is. You're coming and you're peeing at the same time.
Wow. Squirting, as you said, is pee. My wife was asking me the question a while ago. She said she thought she was going to ask the question rather what's the difference between squirting and ejaculation when she saw Nordia made the comment. Now, the pee's in the bladder, so obviously there's some interaction going on with whatever instrument, maybe the finger, the penis, whatever, and the bladder. So because of the bladder, remember the entrance of the vagina is different from that tiny entrance that the pee comes through.
What do you call it? Arteria?
Yes.
Like Utria?
Yes. Yes. So it's because of a contact with the bladder that you release pee. So pee is different from ejaculation. All right. Ejaculation is more that either clear or white liquid that flows so heavy when a woman is in ecstasy. That is what the ejaculation is. All right. So squirting is totally different. Squirting is a whole different ball game from that. All right. Yes. I didn't know that there are women who really like to squirt.
Hey, you should. God have mercy.
So you see, relationships are so dynamic, Pastor Kelly, because here you are, one woman loves this, but another woman wouldn't dare love it. Here you are, one man don't mind the woman squirting, whereas another man would not tolerate a woman doing that. I mean, peeing on them, they're not going to tolerate that. And so I'm telling you, relationship, when you are married, and that's why communication is always important, that you have to talk to your spouse, right? It is what you love and what your spouse love. It is even what the counselor says, because at the end of the day, it's your decision. It's both of you who will be locked away in your bedroom to enjoy both yourselves. All right. So you have to do what works for you. All right. Just make sure that it doesn't go against what God says.
That's right.
Yeah, once it doesn't go against what God says and both of you are comfortable with it,
Yes.
go and enjoy yourself.
And that is right. That is why it is good for you to let the Lord bless you according to how He ordained it, for you to have the wife that He gave you or the husband that He have for you, right? And you will be compatible because you should be one. That's what the scripture said. And He honors it, marriage. That's what He said. And I believe today, let the Lord be the choice of your marriage. I'm
All right.
telling you.
The Tigress is saying squirting is not urine. I would
Yes,
be
it
very
is.
I would love to know what it is. If it's not urine. She said it's not urine. We're learning tonight, Pastor
I'm
Kelly, from the
looking it up,
females.
and it says
Yeah.
also of a liquid other than urine. Oh,
Okay, so read what you have there.
okay.
Yeah.
It says squirting refers to ejaculation from the vagina. Some people call it female ejaculation. Where is it? Oh Lord, I lost it.
Okay, so the urine thing then is probably what they call golden shower. Is that so?
I don't see anything.
What, so it seems as if then, all right, we're getting some information here. And by the way, the Tigress is a nurse over there in Holland. All right, so we're learning. As I'm telling you, I'm happy that the females are really participating. So she's saying squirting is not urine. So which means that, because I remember I was going I was in a taxi one day, and a gentleman came in the bus, not a taxi, the bus, and the gentleman came in the bus, and the bus had picked him up close to a go-go club area, and when he came in the bus, he started talking, and he said, he met some two go-go's, and he paid them to have sex with them, and they said they felt fetish. That was the first I was hearing that word fetish. Um, how they felt fetish, and so they had whips, and they started to whip him. They tied him up to the bed. They had
Mm.
handcuffs, and they tied him to the bed, and they whipped him, man. And he said when they were whipping him, he was crying out for his mother, and then whip him because they have like a leather whip. And they were whipping him, man. So every time they whip him, it wheel up his skin, and him say, "Oh yeah, no, I thought it was time for them to come now and have some sex with me now, so we can have penetration." He said they went over him and they pulled down their underwear and they started to pee, and then he called it golden shower. That was the first time I was hearing that term being used as well, golden shower. So maybe what I was saying earlier on is golden shower, and squirting is something else. Mrs. Wade is trying to research it. There. You find anything else?
Okay. It says squirting is the explosion of fluid from a woman's down belows around the point of orgasm. We've known for a long time that some women can produce notable amounts of liquid from their genitals. In some cases, supposedly shot out with water blast of force during sexual excitement or orgasm.
All right, so they're saying that liquid there is mixed with water. So that minister
No,
could
it
be
shoots like water.
shoots like water. So that could be what you were asking a while ago. That could be a form of ejaculation. Let's see, the present data based on ultrasonographic bladder monitoring and biochemical analysis indicate that squirting is essentially the involuntary emission of urine during sexual activity. Although a marginal contribution of protastic secretions to the emitted fluid often exists. All right, so we're getting two sides of the story. So based on the research, based on what the ultrasound, the data, based on what the data is
Yeah.
saying, is that squirting is actually urine. That's what it is saying. Based on my studies, that's what we were taught, that squirting is urine. But we were hearing from a nurse that it was not urine. But here the data comes back to the fore to say it is urine, but it can be mixed with
Mixed.
other fluid. All right. So that clear thing that shoots, we were taught that was urine.
I found another one.
Yes.
It says squirting refers to a fluid expelled from the vagina during orgasm. Not all people with vaginas squirt during orgasm, but those who do may only squirt some of the time. This type of orgasm includes a rapid ejection of urine from the bladder.
That was my understanding initially of what squirting is. But you know how we are. We are always, we always make ourselves correctable. All right. So we don't know everything. We learn from each other as we go on. Yeah, so that's new. That first one was new for me. What we're just reading now is what I was taught. All right, when I was studying. So, all right, so it goes back to what I thought I knew. All right, so yes, so again, so I can safely say, based on the data, that squirting is not solely an ejaculation. It is urine that is expelled. But some people call it golden shower. That's maybe I think when you voluntarily go over and pee on somebody. Again, the question would be asked of some Christian: is it ever right for me to pee on my partner? Again, the answer is if your partner like it. I don't see anywhere in the Bible saying not to pee on nobody. So if your partner like it, that's between you and your partner.
But when
well, you see, we're giving information, so we have to be able to back it up. All right, so we are not going to say, oh, it is wrong, and if you like it, I mean, indulge your spouse. If your spouse like it, you can indulge your spouse. But as for me and my house, we are going to serve the Lord.
Yeah, man.
that is mental health, though.
Like peeing on somebody.
Yeah.
No, remember, you have some real mad people out there, Yeah, you have some real mad people out there. But tell you, put it this way, though I say that they are mad, because you do have some crazy people out there, but for some people, it's not that they're mental at all. It is just what they like. You have some people, the term they use is that they're freaky. They're very freaky. They don't mind being freaky. Some people are like that. All right? No, you and I can't tell people what to like. No, that's not our place. To tell anybody, any married couple, what they should like and what they wouldn't like. Maybe they like to smell rank. Yeah, maybe they do. You have some people probably they're addicted to the ranking scent.
I'm telling you.
Everybody is different.
Not trouble in anybody's bedroom. Leave it alone.
It might be weird to you, but for some people that might be fun. True. For some women, they may not be able to reach an orgasm until they smell something rank. You never know.
Yes, sir. I hear you. That is deep. Hey. Every home different, sir.
That's true.
Every bedroom different, sir. Yeah, man.
Okay. So you see, again, do you think this has anything to do with how people were socialized, how they were culturalized? Do you think all of this has anything to do or to bear on the way people behave? Remember, mental health has to do with your mood, your feelings, your emotion, what you say, what you do, how you act. All of that takes in mental health. No, that's an act. That's their mood. That's what they want to do. They do whatever they want to do in the confines of their marital home. But for some people, like myself, I don't think I want nobody to pee on me. Pee is a waste. That's waste. That is supposed to go in the bathroom and go about the business, But for some people, they really like it, So, Pastor Kelly, if somebody come to you and tell you that they like when their spouse pee on them, you go and make up your face like that, sir.
I'm not gonna ask the question. I'm just gonna say, why different?
I want to know why they do it. I would say, oh, really? So why do you do it? I'm going to investigate. why do you do it? What thought comes in your mind why you want to do that to your partner to do that to you? I'm going to investigate. I'm going deep into that. If somebody comes to me, that's me. I'm going deep. I want to know. I'm going to ask questions.
Listen to this statement, Minister. Some
No,
men say
that
they don't.
sounds like a question.
Some men say they don't like a fresh vagina. It have to smell. It is the reality.
Oh, it is a real. Oh, it's a statement. Oh, I thought
Oh.
it was a question.
Can you imagine that, Pastor Kelly? Some men say they don't like the vagina fresh. It must have like a, I don't know if it's a vagina smell or a rank smell or what. So it just show you the different class and caliber of people that we are dealing with even in Christendom, you know? These things are real. These things do happen. St. Paul says everyone to their own order.
It is personal. It's personal life. Personal life. Personal life of persons. And not to say that because I don't agree with it, I'm going to throw it in your face. But it is, you're going to find these things and you're going to hear these things. And all you have to do is just mind your own business.
You know, when the G-spot highly aroused, you squirt. Okay, the Tigress was talking about the G-spot and squirting. Now, Pastor Kelly, let's say, you know, there's a couple that comes to you. One likes to be peon and one despises it. It is creating some problems in the home because one feels that, oh, you're not satisfying me because you're not doing it. And the other one feels, hey, you're too nasty, and it creates all kind of conflict. How do we get those two to balance themselves out?
Is that marriage of the Lord?
Yeah, it's of the Lord. Yeah, it's of the Lord.
But we have to look at where they unequal, the differences, they not accepting, they agreeing together. You know, there's a unbalance that is there, and only the both of them can get it together. To encourage that person, no, if I'm not experiencing those things, I can't say much more to say that they have to work it out together. They have to do it. Work it is either you don't do it or you just do it together. That's their choice.
Communication.
Yeah, it's both of them have to work it out.
Another one is compromise. What if the one who don't want to do it is the one who has to compromise or is required to compromise to make the marriage work?
To communication, they have to come to that that agreement and agree together.
Yeah, D Tigress says some of them like it fetish. He will say it's fetish. Yes. Fetish. That's the word that they use. Another word is freaky.
I have a question, Pastor Kelly.
Yeah.
Pastor Curry is saying to have discussion about the situation. I saw to Pastor Curry. Go ahead, Mr. Sweet.
Every time that a couple has maybe a disagreement on something, is it always that they're unequally yoked? Why that happen?
No, because you're going to have teeth and tongue. I hear that over and over again before I become a man.
No, not with argument. Like, for instance, the question that Pastor with that Dr. KJ just asked you about.
Yeah, I know what you're asking. Go ahead.
Yes. Is it that they're unequally yoked? Why that is happening, or is just that they need to compromise?
Need to compromise. Okay. And as I said to you just now and everyone, it's an agreement. You have to come together. It's two of you. Two of you supposed to be one, and it's two of you are one because you are married. No, if you find out there is an unbalance, there is a tug, how you call it, tug and war, a pull there and a pull here. You know, it's that mean it's not bonded. And prayer will help. I can tell you, prayer can help. Prayer can help. Communication is one of the main key there as well. Amen. And to be humble to each other, to be to be real to each other, to be able to understand each other in communication. No, you can't bully each other. You can't just be talking to each other as you like because of what you want. Because so we stay as man and woman. Amen. We always want to demand what we want. But if you deal with it the right way, it will work out. Whether you do it or not together, it will work out. Communication is key.
Okay.
Mental health and how it affects sexual relations. A lot of people are having issues in their bedroom and they're afraid to talk about it. On this program, we talk about any and every issue that affects our sexual life in our marital bedrooms. All right, this program is a sexual program. We look at sexual relations within the confines of marriage. We address the topics that others are afraid to address. We talk about issues that others see as ungodly to talk about in the public sphere. We talk about these things because the truth be told, many people are suffering from these issues. All right. I believe we're going to be having some giveaways on set today. I'm going to play the commercial for you again, and then we're going to invite my good friend Fansaridi to come in.
It's an album and book launch with a difference. Yes, Dr. KJ invites you to his album and book launch at the Omega Church, 11030 Wild Road, Coral Springs, Florida, Friday, the 11th of February at 7 p.m. with special guest artist Judith Gale, Joan Fleming, Second Chance, William Rojik,
Your presence so sweet.
Prodigal Son,
Jesus, send the fire, make it burn up, burn up.
and Peace Appear. Master of Ceremonies DJ Mark. Tickets $30. You can get your tickets online at www.freshtick.com. That's www.freshtick.com. Come and celebrate with Dr. KJ's album and book launch at the Omega Church, 11030 Wilds Road, Coral Springs, Florida, Friday the 11th of February at 7 p.m. It's a red and white affair. For further information, you can call 770-873-7625. Come and embrace the promise.
Indeed. Or welcome back. You are still inside a relationship talk. Fansaridi, we want to say thanks to Fansaridi. She wants to give away 2 tickets to the concert. She was sponsoring 2 persons to the concert, either in New York, in Florida, or in Philadelphia. All right, so I believe this question is going to be for those who are close by. Perhaps you can win it and give it to somebody, a family member, or a friend, and who is in the vicinity. All right. Sophia McGraw is saying great discussion and very informative. Thank you so much, Sophia. Thank you so much. The question is, if you can tell us, question number 1, the venue and address for the show in Florida. The venue and address of the venue for the show in Florida. And while we do that, we will continue the discussion while we wait on the answer. So Fansaridi is sponsoring 2 persons. I see Minister Kimika is enjoying themselves. Alison Grant is saying it's amazing to see how people are afraid to indulge in this topic. It is true. Minister Kimika, let's take that up. Put back that, Mr. Producer, please. Our listener is saying that it amazes her to see how people are afraid to indulge in this topic. Why do you think Christian people are afraid to talk about sex, yet they face so much challenges when it comes down to sex?
Because they are afraid of people judging them because they're Christian and believe that they should not talk about sex. They should shun it and not embrace their sexuality. So they don't want to talk about it. Like for me, I know when I got saved and I was talking to some of my friends, and I'm talking about sex, they're like, "Oh my God, aren't you a Christian?" I said, "Yes, I'm a Christian, but I wasn't just born in the church. I didn't just get saved, in the church. No, I was out there just like you doing stuff. And even as a Christian, before I started doing what I was doing, I was curious. I had questions. I asked God questions. I read books to find out. But they make us well, sometimes the older Christians, respect you, all of you guys and everything. They wasn't able to speak about sex. So they passed it on to generation. So people are like, no, you're not supposed to talk about it. But no, you should be able to speak about it. And don't use certain words, during certain conversation.
Yes,
you don't have to be too raw, too vulgar, but you can speak about it. And we just need to stop being afraid of your sexuality. Embrace it. I embrace, man. I'm not afraid to share what I've been through. I'm not afraid to say I need to learn. Like I'm learning a lot tonight, and I'm like, wow, But we need to stop being afraid of it. Yeah. And just embrace our sexuality, embrace what God has given unto us. Stop hiding from it. And the more you speak about it, the more you learn and you gain more knowledge, and you can pass it on to your sister, to your brother, to your niece, and then we could pass it on. So we need to stop being afraid of what people are going to say about you and judge you. Just be you.
And I want to say this, Doc. I know it's a gift from God, because when I'm having my good time with my wife, just to say, I can't think about my billfold. My money in my billfold. If you understand what I'm saying, it is indeed a gift from God. So what I'm embracing what my wife just said. We need to just, keep it real, be the person we are, and just relate. Just don't be afraid to talk, because you can get help out of it.
And you know what, too? Because you see, my mom taught me my mom told me some things, but I was curious and I went to find out things for myself. And I had some friends when I was going to school that was Christians, and I was the one that was partying and doing stuff, and they didn't know anything about sex. Nobody told them anything. And you know what they did? They left the church to go experience what it is about sex, what all the stuff they're hearing. So if we as Christians or as parents or as family members know something, and the person's growing up and they're going to be curious, share the information with them. Don't let them go out there and explore, because I explore a lot of things. You understand what I'm saying? And I kind of mess myself up. God had to help me. Yeah. So if I had some people talk about certain things, then I wouldn't have jumped into it and go do certain things and find out that was wrong in the hand. Because listen, I used to watch porn. Now when I watch porn, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in it. You understand? And because I'm curious. So if we talk about certain things, then some people will not jump and do certain things that they're not supposed to do. So we need to stop being afraid of doing it. I'm speaking about it.
Mrs. Ray, what do you say to persons who say, oh, I'm saved, and I'm not going to talk about this because we shouldn't be talking about it? What do you say to them?
Oh, if they're saved and married?
Yeah, saved and married, and saying that we shouldn't be talking about sex at all. Do you see that as a problem in the church?
But I was just about to say, I'm not going to bother saying. I'm going to sound too harsh.
Wisdom.
I don't want to sound harsh. I really don't want to sound harsh.
Wait, take it down two notch. A little down on it. Come down with it.
If you don't want to talk about it, why do it then?
You heard that? If you don't want to talk about it, powerful. I love that.
You're doing it well. I know some people who really don't like to talk about their sexual life. They hide it, but I mean, your experience, you can help someone else with your experience. So I believe that the church or Christian people need to talk to, especially the young people coming up and want to get married. I believe that if it's even to adopt one and teach, so each one teach one.
Yeah,
so that's what I believe. But I don't know. I really don't want to be too harsh, so let me end it there.
And this is why
Yeah.
young boys, young girls, even young church brothers and sisters, they hide
That's where
and
they
they
go
go.
and explore, right?
I'm telling you, because when I was budding, is that a word?
Budding.
When I was yeah man, we are using Jamaican way. When I was budding, that means that when I was being bad, being the pastor's son, I'm telling you, you have to have a gift to find me and catch me. Because when you're young and you have the feelings that coming up on you, you're going to find way to get yourself be satisfied or be pleased. I'm going to tell you something, man. You see, if you were able to hear the stuff where it would have helped you then, that it could have helped you today, it would make a lot of us better. But it takes the help of the Lord to help me and those who have used to come into my life to let me see their mistake so that I can able to correct my little wrongs or my big wrongs. And today I can say to you, I've been helped in my years of my whole ways that I used to have. And because I didn't understand how, as Minister came because she search, she find ways, so she go look it up, she go read it up, she go Google it, she go YouTube it, she go rent because you remember you used to can rent DVD with those things, we call it VCR.
Yeah.
That's the video. Yeah. Well, we never have these things that we have now. We used to go rent it.
Got websites that are free. I know a couple few websites, and that's what I've used.
And that is what persons done and find find information to see. Cause you can't bring certain conversation to daddy or mommy. You cannot. They say, boy, I go sit down.
Yeah, and they say you're too young, but
You know what I'm hearing
I
is
want to find out though, what is the right age for you to learn about
and I was
these
going
things?
and I was going to allude to that.
What is really the right age for you to learn?
It is very important for sex ed in school. I used to teach home and family life when I used to be back in the high school, and these are some of the things that was in the curriculum for us to teach. I remember one time, a teacher came to me and said, "Oh, Mr. Witt, do you feel comfortable teaching this subject because you're a pastor?" And I said to her, that's why I need to be the one to teach it, because I am the pastor. So I am supposed to be the one to teach it. Yeah, so I used to teach home and family life when I was a guidance counselor back in high school in Jamaica. And these are topics that we talk about, and we start teaching grade 9 these topics. Now they have incorporated from grade 7. So 13, 14, you begin to sensitize them. By the time they get to grade 9, you're getting deeper into it, and they will have their questions. They do ask you questions. I remember I was teaching one time the sexual reproductive organ. I was teaching the organ, not the system, the organ. And I wrote on the whiteboard and I said, all right, we're going to look at the male reproductive organ. And let me tell you, I wrote and I told the class, I said, I want to hear all the names that you call the penis. I want to hear all the names. And as big as that whiteboard was, it was full. It was full, right? And, and it hit me and I was like, wow. And these are the kids that, parents are hiding things from, don't want to talk to them about sex, but yet they know so much. I learned so much from them in that class, and it marvels me. When it was time for us to look at the vagina, it was the same thing. It was the same thing. And so when we think that we are hiding, oh, you don't need to know this, they already know.
They know.
They know way more than we do.
Yeah.
And that's why we have to teach them and guide them. This is where guidance is important. And we have to guide them and show them what is right, teach them what is right and what is wrong, so they know when they see a pitfall that they don't walk in that direction. This is what you ought to do and ought not to do. Vivian said, so true, Minister Kimika, a lot of children leave the church because of old Christian people in the church. I used to have a problem with that, with the older folks beating down on the younger folks. Because even check it out, the older folks, they have 10 children from 8 different men. You know, 10 children for 8 different men before they came in the church. But then after they come in the church, they got so holy and sanctimonious that now our children behind them have to suffer. And it shouldn't be that way. It's a taboo in the church, as Tigress says, and we need to get out of that. John Jr. says people need not to act religious. Sex is
spiritual.
Or spiritual. My wife is adding to that. Sex is a God-given blessing and natural part of us. We should not be afraid to have healthy sexual discussions in our marriages. Pastor Corey is saying, as older women in the church, we have a responsibility to do sex talk with our younger sisters, prepare them for marriage. And that is so true. That is key. And the Bible tells us that too, that the older women are supposed to teach young women.
Age women, yes. Age women, yes.
Yes. Tigress says, I visit some family in the Caribbean and some topics I speak on about is asked, some topics she spoke on, she was asked not to speak that topic in their yard. Wow. Can you imagine? So yes. When they start asking, my passion probably answer the question, when do you talk to them? Okay, so if they ask you at age 8 is a good time to have a conversation with them. I remember when my son asked me about wet dreams. He was probably, we're coming to you, Natalie. We should say you're in, Natalie. We should come to you. I remember when my son asked me the question. I think he was about what, seven or 8.
Oh yes, it was about 7.
7.
Yeah. I was shocked.
Yes, and he had some questions for me as his dad, and I saw it as an opportunity to sit him down and talk to him about it. I remember when I remember hearing my daughter asking my wife about period, and she was probably about 8, 7 too. And I realized that was a perfect opportunity for Mrs. Wade to have a conversation with her as
and
to
I sure did.
What to expect. How would it, I mean, I saw her, showed her how to use a sanitary napkin when the time comes. All these things we have to teach our children. We have to teach our children. I remember the first time when I was a boy, when I was growing up and was getting to the age of maturity, and that happened to me. I was lost.
Yeah, I was embarrassed.
Something was wrong with me.
I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
By my own self, I was embarrassed. Can you imagine?
Yeah. So we have to teach our children these things from early, and stop, fooling ourselves. Oh, I'm a pastor, I'm a Christian, I'm the bishop of the church. Your daughter and your son is going to become curious, and they are going to explore. And when they find themselves, their backs against the wall, that's when it brings embarrassment to you as well. So the right thing to do is to sit them down and talk to them. If they ask a question, talk to them. Don't run them like probably some of us parents will do. Boy, I'm on your thought. Huh? No, don't do that. Don't do that. Engage them in a conversation. My passion says, because if you don't tell them, others will, and it might not be the right thing.
Tell them the wrong thing. That's true. Go tell them the wrong thing.
Yes.
Yeah. And that is so true. As I just want to share this just a little briefly. I remember when I got hurt, my first hurt as a young man. Love this girl, love her so much, till I almost never realized I almost love her more than myself. And I went to a age man and I asked him the question, how can I get over this? The man said to me, it's only another woman. No, it's just an example I'm giving to you, as you just said it just now, that persons will give a wrong advice to cause you to get worse than where you are in your life.
Yeah, it is true. In Europe, one listener is saying in Europe, at
Europe school at
in Europe
4 years.
in school at 4 years old. My son came home speaking about sex. She said she pull up her socks and make sure that she was prepared for it from her daughter at that same age. She said the school was still ahead of her. So I'm telling you, it's very important. That is why I got pregnant at 15, one listener says, because no one would talk to me about sex. So she got pregnant at 15 because she didn't know what to do.
What did I?
Yeah, so it's very important that we engage our children in these talks. There are times when Mrs. Sweet and I, we just sit around the table for hours with the kids and we have some candid talks. We talk about everything. We allow them to ask questions. As parents, we have to position ourselves in such a way that our children feel free to come to us and talk to us on any subject, and we guide them. We're supposed to guide them. All right. Our winner for that first ticket is Nathalie Wholeness Dawkins. She's down there in Florida, and thanks to Fancy Reedy. Nathalie, yes. Mr. Producer, can you put back that one there? It is at the Omega Church in Florida, and it is at 11030 Wiles Road in Coral Spring, Florida 33076. That's the venue for the first show coming up on Friday at 7 o'clock. The next question is, can you tell me, anybody else who is in any one of the vicinity, can you tell me 5 of the artists, 5 of the ministers who will be performing, who will be ministering on these events? I'm going to play the ad for you. We're going to take one more break and we'll come back. In the meantime, you can put your answers up.
It's an album and book launch with a difference. Yes, Dr. KJ invites you to his album and book launch at the Omega Church, 11030 Wild Road, Coral Springs, Florida, Friday, the 11th of February at 7 p.m. with special guest artist Judith Gale, Joan Flemings, Second Chance, William Rojic,
Your presence is sweet.
Prodigal Son,
Jesus, send me for your making for no
and Peace Appear. Master of Ceremonies DJ Mark. Tickets $30. You can get your tickets online at www.freshtick.com. That's www.freshtick.com. Come and celebrate with Dr. KJ's album and book launch at the Omega Church, 11030 Wilds Road, Coral Springs, Florida, Friday the 11th of February at 7 p.m. It's a red and white affair. For further information, you can call 770-873-7625. Come and embrace the promise.
Indeed, Florida, we're coming your way Friday. Philadelphia, we're coming your way Saturday. New York, we're coming your way on Sunday. All right, so Garnet Dawkins is responding, and he's saying Joan Fleming's Second Chance. I don't think Kevin Waite is on the show. Judith Gale and William Rojic. Kevin Waite is not on the show. All right. Vivian Jarrett says Prodigal Son, Judith Gale, Joan Flemings, Dr. KJ, and Keisa Peart. All right. Piers. Oh, Lord. All right. Yes, Mr. Dawkins, I'll be on the show, but not as Kevin Waite. All right. I'll be there as Dr. KJ. All right. That's my music name. All right. We're going to be having a good time. So, Fancy Reedy, 3 tickets here. I forgot by here. Mr. Dawkins and Mrs. Jarrett. All right. So thanks to all our winners. We're expecting a great time. And we are looking forward in seeing you in sharing with you, in experiencing the Lord together. Do remember next week we will not be on for the show, but we're going to be streaming the show in Philadelphia. So we invite you to log on, and you'll be able to see bits and pieces of what's going on. All right. And there Fancy Reed is clapping. All right, Fancy Reed, thank you. She's saying no problem. Thank you so much, Fancy Reedy. All right, until the week after next week, everybody, thank you so much for being a part of our show. We appreciate you for your love, your support, your encouragement. Thank you so much. Minister Kamika, your final word.
Oh, my final word. Your mental health does affect your sexuality, does affect your relationship. So we need to pay keen attention to our mental state. Do the best we can to make sure that we have a sound mind. And if it's very hard for you, you can ask God to help you, because He did not give us a spirit of fear, like we know the scriptures say. He gave us a spirit of a sound mind. Do you understand? He gave us love. So just ask God to help you if you know you have a major problem mentally and it's affecting your relationship. Always discuss stuff that you want to do in your bedroom, because one partner might not like it. So not because one partner might not like you want to break up and don't talk anymore, you go outside and cheat. Don't do that. Sit down with your partner, discuss what you like and what you don't like, and you compromise and see what works. Discuss it, because without a good communication, your relationship will never work. So just make sure you do that.
Pastor Kelly.
I must say to you, there's help. Ask the Lord to lead you. You may have friends that you can talk to, or someone, whether it's a pastor, whether it's a brethren, whether it's a mother who is not your birth mother, but she's your mother, that you look up to her, or him, the father. Get help. And remember, it's not over. Prayer changes things, and it will get better. Be faithful.
Mrs. Waite.
Oh, I just want to thank you all for listening this evening. And I hope that you all learned something. And we must always try to keep our mental health intact so we can have good relationships, whether with our partners, our friends, our families.
And just so you know, when we come back with the program 2 weeks from now, you will not be seeing Mrs. Waite. I'll be sitting by myself next week. All right. So Mrs. Waite will be going on leave, and she will be on leave for a little while. All right. So that's why she's telling you thanks. So
I've been listening in though.
Yeah, wherever she's gonna be, she'll be listening. All right, and she'll be doing a lot of traveling, so she'll be listening with us as well. All right. So pray her strength and pray her covering. Thank you so very much, DJ Javon Williams. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're going to leave you with this song. D Tiger says, I'm enjoying the topic. Discussion is open, honestly spoken of. Pastor Curry, my prayers are with the group. Be safe in Jesus' name. Thank you. Natalie Holness, Dawkins, see you real soon. Of course. Jordia Peter, good night, family. Good night, Jordia. Good night, Jordia. Welcome. Charlene Grinley, Godspeeds, Mrs. Waite. Hi, Grinley. God bless you.
I may say, oh, Lord, I may say, oh, Lord, Lord have mercy. I stumble through the aisles, with tears in my eyes. I know my storm's not over, but my battles will be won. I've been this place before, This is my threshing floor. My shame may be battered, but I know my alcohol. Yeah, getting weary, journey so long, but I'ma hold on, I'ma hold strong. Use my faith to move the mountain. Pray till something happens. I am not leaving till you bless me, Lord. I am not leaving till you bless me, Lord. I'm after your heart, not your hands.
Yes, Lord, I'm available for your blessing. You can use me for your glory. Here to tell your story, even though I'm not worthy of now. Anywhere that you send me, I go. From the hills into the valleys, from the churches to the street. Me and the dream, but then we all journey so long. I'm a hold on, I'm a hold strong. Use my faith and move a mountain. Pray till something happens. I am not leaving till you bless me, Lord. I am not leaving till you bless me, Lord. If you don't send me, I won't go. Where you lead, Lord, I'll follow. On my knees, that's where I go. For my open doors. Won't let go till you bless me like Jacob. I'm desperate, Lord, please fix my focus. When trials of life overtake us, you never say. I am not leaving till you bless me, Lord. I am not leaving till you bless me, Lord. I am not leaving till you bless me, Lord. I am not leaving till you bless me, Lord. I stumble through the years, yeah, with tears in my eyes. I know my storm's not over, but my battles will be won. I've been this place before, yeah. This is my threshing floor. My shame may be battered, but I know my alcohol. Yeah, getting weary, journey so long, but I'ma hold on, I'ma hold strong. Use my faith to move the mountain. Pray till something happens. I am not leaving